Marcus Webb stood among empty desks and watched a product launch that would erase his company, built by the man he had called unnecessary. 3 years earlier, Marcus had been exactly where every CEO wants to be. His technology firm was profitable, respected, and growing. He ran it with precision. Every decision flowed through a spreadsheet. Every person was a salary, and every salary was a number to be managed. He was not a cruel man. He was a certain one. And in the back corner of the engineering floor, a man named Ray Sato sat at the same desk he had occupied for 19 years. Ray was quiet. He rarely spoke in meetings. When he did, people leaned forward, because his words carried the weight of someone who actually built things. When the servers crashed at 2 in the morning, Ray was the one who fixed them. When new hires couldn't understand the old systems, Ray sat beside them and walked them through, line by line. He never asked for credit. He never raised his hand. He kept a small notebook on his desk, battered and soft from years of use, filled with sketches and calculations. Nobody asked what was in it. Then the quarter turned. Revenue dipped. Marcus needed to cut, and fast. He opened his spreadsheet and searched for the highest salary in engineering. There it was, Ray Sato. 19 years of raises, 19 years of loyalty, now the most expensive line item on the page. Marcus called him into his office and slid a folder across the desk. "Your position is being eliminated," he said. "It's not personal." Ray looked at the folder, then at Marcus. He nodded slowly, tucked his notebook under his arm, and said 2 words, "I understand." He packed a single box and carried it past the desk where he had spent almost 2 decades. Nobody stopped him. Nobody asked what he would take with him, or what he was carrying away. Ray went home to a quiet kitchen table. For 3 days, the notebook sat unopened. On the 4th day, he turned to a page he had been adding to for years, a new approach to the very problem Marcus's company was struggling to solve. He had never shown it to anyone. It wasn't ready, he had told himself. Or maybe nobody had ever asked. In his garage, with his own savings and the steadiness that had always defined him, he began to build. 1 year later, he had a working prototype. 2 years later, he had a small team, other engineers who had been called unnecessary somewhere, each one carrying knowledge no one had thought to value. Ray made nameplates for every desk, because he believed that belonging was not something you earned. It was something you were given. 3 years later, they launched a product that did everything Marcus's company did, but faster, cheaper, and better. It was not luck. Ray had been thinking about this problem for 19 years. He was not catching up to the industry. He was revealing what he had known all along. Back at Marcus's company, the cuts continued. Each quarter brought more eliminations, more positions deemed unnecessary. Each one saved money in the short term, and drained something invisible that no spreadsheet could measure. Clients began to leave. First one, then several, then most. The board called a meeting. Marcus stood in a conference room surrounded by empty chairs and was told his own position was being eliminated. It wasn't personal. He drove home that night in silence. He kept seeing the same image, Ray walking out with a single box, and no one stopping him. He understood then, not just what he had lost, but what he had never thought to look for. The quiet man at the back desk was not a cost. He was the foundation. And the notebook Marcus never asked about had become the blueprint for everything his company could have been. Here's what this story holds. Every day, someone decides that a person is expendable, that loyalty is expensive, that quiet work is invisible work, that a number on a page tells the whole truth. But people are not costs to cut. They carry ideas, memory, and craft that no balance sheet can capture. When you treat someone as disposable, you are not saving. You are giving away something you did not know you had, to someone who will build it into something you cannot reach. That notebook, soft and battered, full of years of thinking, sits open on a desk in a company that changed an industry. And in a quiet office somewhere else, a man who once called someone unnecessary has learned the hardest truth of all: the most valuable things are often the quietest. And once you let them walk out the door, they do not come back. They go forward, and build what you never could.